Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Who knows what we'll see and find in November 1982.
All these points, the record's mine, that's clear. Let's buy our man a nice cold beer. Bull! Bull! You get a big bone blue when the bull is here. The Schlitz not liquor bull. We'll give you more taste than beer. So don't say beer, just say bull. The Schlitz not liquor bull. Hey, the bull really scores. No one doesn't like the bull.
Oh my gosh, if we're going to be destroying arcade cabinets, we're off to a really good start. Welcome everyone. The last game we were checking out was Snipes on MS-DOS, and after further review and more discovery, yes, I am confirming and saying this is the very first video game that had local area network deathmatch. Not necessarily right now in November 1982, but Snipes was the first, and it's the first game that we're tagging as a local area network video game, or competitive. So I'm going to change the score for Snipes. It is confirmed. It is a 4-star game of all the games you could play on all home computers right now. You may even say more than that. But here in November 1982, we'll say 4 stars. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're next going to the Atari home computer, and this is Snooper Troops. Case number 2, The Disappearing Dolphin. You ready for some edutainment in November 1982? Here's the box for Snooper Troops. Case number 2. We saw case number 1, the Granite Point Ghost, back in May 1982 on Apple II, Atari home computer, and MS-DOS. This one is the 407th game we've seen on the Atari home computer thus far. Oh gosh, ages 10 to adult. Lily the dolphin is missing. What do we do? And you flip it over the back, you can see it's going to be playing like the other Snooper Troops if you saw us do that one. It is edutainment. It is using both reading and writing skills and a video game at the same time. Do they mesh? Well, we'll find out. Here's the artwork for Snooper Troops, case number 2. There's the ad you would have seen from magazines, or at least a later one, because I think this one is also available for other home computers besides just the Atari home computer. And the 5 1/4 floppy disk looks kind of like that. This one's by Spinnaker Software. This is the 7th game we've seen by them, bringing us edutainment titles like Facemaker and Story Machine. In other words, games that I am not qualified to really review because it's not necessarily my demographic. All right, let's just pop in and play Snooper Troops, case number 2, by Thomas F. Snyder and Bruce Brown, released at some time in November 1982. That's right, Jeremiah, the best edutainment, or the best tainment, is edutainment. Where is Lily the Performing Dolphin? The police don't know. On May 10th, someone tied up the Pete Tabasco. Have a look in your Snoop book while you wait for the program to load. All right, I'll play ball. Let's look at our Snoop book. Here it is. This one is a very well done manual, considering, you know, it's made for a younger audience. But you can see here, the manual is going through as if you were a detective on a case. So I kind of call this this is the Carmen Sandiego of November 1982, at least the Snooper Troop games. We don't necessarily play every single edutainment or educational video game that's out there, but I do try to hit on the milestone ones, the good ones. Up to this point, my money is still on Rocky's Boots. If you want to play an educational title like the cream of the crop, Rocky's Boots is the top. All right, so here you go. The police don't know you, and you have to be finding the guilty one. You're actually going to be doing interrogations, driving around with your Snoopmobile. As a detective, that's what we have. We have the SnoopNet computer. This game, even though we're playing on the Atari home computer with an Atari joystick plugged in, you have to do the keyboard, which I said this on the other Snooper Troop game. Very missed opportunity. Use the joystick to control the car, but no, you have to use the keyboard. Same thing for IBM computers. And then the spacebar allows you to do all these things. You're going into houses, you're knocking on doors, you're turning flashlights on and off, you are being a sleuth. And then this has the case where you'll be reading and finding suspects. This is what happened. People barged in, oh my gosh, and tied up people. This is supposed to be a kid's game, and they're actually they actually look pretty creepy. Okay, I guess they got untied, and then the police came on the case, but they couldn't find where the dolphin was, and it's up to us. So you can get background notes, you can read about the different people. I'm not going to go through the whole manual because it's going through every possible suspect. But you can definitely see the inspiration or possible inspirations of what will eventually be Carmen Sandiego, a very, very popular edutainment title No, right? If there's a missing dolphin, why isn't Ace Ventura on the case? Because Ace Ventura doesn't exist yet, and not even 10 years from this point. So anyway, I'm not going to read every single one. Let's go back to the game. Now that we've taken a look at our Snoop book. So this is education for reading and writing, and it involves, dolphins, if that's your cup of tea. It's got a lot of things going for this game besides other educational titles that are just very simple concepts. This one has a lot that you can do and play in the game. However, as we've said in the first Snooper Troop game, this one is very slow, and I don't think kids would have the patience for what you're about to see. See, we're going through the opening right now. Every time you execute a command, it just takes a long time to load, so we're not going to be playing that much of Snooper Troops. Is this your first day on the case? Yes, it is. We could be Agent 1 or Agent 2. I'll be Agent 1. Joining the case on Tuesday, Week 1. Are you sure you want to erase the old records? Yes. I guess it remembered the last record that I did on my playtest, which means it's a video game that keeps a profile of your progress, which again is another cool thing. A player profile saving is pretty cool. All right, here's the Snoop terminal. I feel like I'm in a classroom right now, and it's part of the rotation where I'm forced to play Snooper Troops. Did anyone have that? Did anyone play this one? I have no nostalgia for this game. I did not play this in school. All right, so it's dialing the central computer, and it's giving us our sloop license number. And you can see this is, again, the slow part. We have to wait for the SnoopNet to connect. And now we have a list of commands. So this is what you have to do. You can look up people facts, send special messages, accusation, and then clue files, or we can just leave. And I just want to leave. Hopping in the Snoopmobile. There we go. All right, so now this is where the game kind of gets interesting. It is you actually driving around. Like, look at this. I am controlling the car. Oh, wait, stop, go back. And you go from building to building, and you interrogate people. Oh, wait, stop, go back. Stop. I just wish this was controlled with the Atari joystick. Why did they decide to do it with the keyboard? So I'm having to do it with a keyboard, and you go to each location. No, stop. And you can actually crash the car. Bad brakes, off to the repair garage. I don't expect kids to have the patience to control the vehicle, to go to all the places. Maybe it's because it's not necessarily made for exactly early childhood. It's made for a little bit older. Look at this. And we have to wait for the tow truck because we pushed the wrong key on the keyboard. I really feel like it should have been programmed with the Atari VCS joystick in mind. Okay, so there you go. Now we can go. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to hit spacebar. And because, again, I hit the wrong key, I moved the car to go into the building. You have to hit space instead, and you got to wait for a tow truck again. Yikes. But what they're trying to do for this game is it's very revolutionary because there's not any other edutainment video games that are giving you this kind of freedom to actually drive around suburbs, going to different buildings, and then interrogating people. But it still is just too slow. Like, look, I made one mistake, and we're waiting for the tow truck because the game's loading. This game is completely in basic, is what I've been told. All right, hitting spacebar. There we go. Now we are entering the house. We have a wrist radio message, and this is us going to the Von Schimp, I guess, a place to interrogate and talk to them. And so then you make accusations and say, okay, this is the person who took the dolphin. And you can see it's loading the screen. So this is the other part, too. When you get to here, this is us getting out of the... Oh, I'm hopping back in the Snoop. No, I want to go in the building. We can ask questions to different suspects. I'm not going to continue any more than that, but you can kind of see a little bit of the freedom. You would have a long time, obviously waiting for loading, but also a lot of content that would keep you engaged. So this one is... It's actually ambitious, and I want to say above average for all the games you could play on all home computers. And I said the same thing with the first Snooper Troop games, but... It's really just too slow to respond. So while the ambition's there, the way it's executed is not as well done. So while I would want to say 3.5, I'm going to have to go 3 stars for all the games you could play across all home computers. It has a lot of inspiration and a lot of things going, but just not executed quite so well. All right, so that's Snooper Troops, the second case. But it was also for MS-DOS, Snooper Troops Case 2. Yes, on MS-DOS. Here's another ad you would have seen way later from magazines, and I believe this one is even showing some other games that Spinnaker Software is doing. Way before the Learning Company. This is so... Look at that. They have a train game. They have the Adventure Creator, which we haven't seen yet. I'm excited to see what that one's like. It's like bearing fruit and not growing vegetables, cultivating the children's minds. All right, now, this has the same manual, same Snooper Troops casebook, or Snoop book, if you will. All right, let's pop it and play Snooper Troops. Case number 2 for MS-DOS. Where is Lily, the performing dolphin? I'd love to know. Is this your first day on the case? Yes. We've seen this one before. Do you want to do Agent 1 or Agent 2? And here you go. I already knew this was going to happen. This game was developed with a very early version of DOS, one that apparently allowed spaces in file names, and the game attempts to load the file Agent Space 1 and Agent Space 2 whenever you start the game. Because I'm using a newer version of DOSBox, and sometimes Windows shells, they will see file names with spaces as multiple arguments, so the file open command for this game will fail. It'll if we went in and we renamed the file so it's not Agent Space 1 or Agent Space 2, this will fix the issue because the game is apparently completely written in BASIC and it's not even protected or compiled. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to say that's all we see of Snooper Troops Case 2, at least this port for MS-DOS. Because we already saw Super Troops on the Atari home computer, and I mean, we already play so many versions of so many of every game that's out there. I'm okay just saying, okay, we'll give this the same rating, 3 stars, like we did on the Atari home computer. Even though you understand that the DOS version is going to blow up, unless you got one of the older versions of DOS, and good luck with that, or you renamed the file name. All right, now let's see what our next game is after that. And Curtis is already in the chat trying to help. Thanks so much, Curtis. All right, our next game takes us to the Bally Astrocade. This is the latest release on this home console, and we're going to play some Solar Conqueror. Sounds exciting. Here's the box for Solar Conqueror. Cool. It looks like every other, well, most of the Bally Astrocade games in front of the box looks like this, but it's now been bought out by a different company. Astrocade is now doing all of the games. This is the 33rd game we played for the Astrocade or Videocade. And the 8th game we've seen by the new company that's taken over. They've done games like Coloring Book, Galactic Invasion, Galaxian Artillery Duel, and we just recently saw Pirates Chase. This is the latest. You are in deep space, test piloting the latest in space technology when your home planet, Libna, learns of a surprise attack of the diabolical, war-hungry Demens. Not demons, Demens from the Natus galaxy. A radiation death ray threatens to wipe out your entire race, and it's up to you to conquer the enemy solar systems. Yes, it is, and conquer them we will. What's the other artwork we have for Solar Conqueror? I'm already intrigued because I like it when we're the defender of the galaxy. There's the example of the console, at least the original. That's the Bally console. It has the numpad on the console itself, and the control is unique too. It has a trigger and like an analog joystick on the top with a knob. So it kind of reminds me in some ways of the Fairchild Channel F joystick, but a more advanced one. There's the cart. We're going to pop into play some Solar Conqueror. And an example of the screenshot. All right, tell us how to play Solar Conqueror. There's the front of the box, our loading instructions, and everything that's, look at program graphics, developed by Action Graphics, all right there on the front. That's pretty cool. This is the 3rd game we've seen by Action Graphics. Scott L. Norris and Thomas McHugh. This is the first game we've seen that they've done, or not the first game, but they have done games like The Incredible Wizard and Cosmic Raiders, which is really, really good. That's some of the best games we've seen for this console. All right, so how do we play? There, the dreaded Demens. Not demons. Death ray gets closer and closer. We start the game by pushing 1 on the keypad, and it's going to be like we load up any other game for this console. The controller works where the joystick's going to steer the ship and control the speed, and you have the trigger to shoot your bullets. The object of the game is score the most points by destroying enemy defenses, defeating their planets, and conquering their solar systems. I haven't heard that one before. Each player starts by selecting the number of ships. You have 8 possible directions and a maximum speed by the joystick. You defeated a planet once you destroy all of its weapons. When you've conquered all planets in the solar system, you advance to the next one. We're actually going to conquer planets in the solar system. That's pretty cool. Whenever you lose a ship or get hit, you go to the next player. So we have a number of planets and solar system. Planets appear on the right side of the screen, and that's where everything's going to come from. The larger the planet, oh, cool, the stronger the planet's gravity. So the further you go, like whenever you play the game allows you to select the level you want to play, and that's kind of the skill level, because the further level you start on, you're going to have stronger gravity, and it's going to be more difficult. So we'll be starting at planet number 1. We have 3 different types of weapons that they're going to be shooting at us: kamikaze combat ships, ground-to-air missiles, and super fighting killer satellites. Awesome. All alien forces appear near the planet and travel toward the player. This already looks like it's an epic space game, like something we played in the arcades. And there's the score system, because you got to know what the score is here in November 1982. Strategies for winning. They even have some tips and tricks. There's a slipper built into the ion drives of the ship that enables you to slip in one direction and face another without accelerating. Interesting. So we're going to see what that feels like with the joystick. You begin in the lowest system. You'll be get an easier understanding of the ships, and accumulate points, risking losing ships. And if you want to play again, just press reset on the Astrocade. All right, let's pop in and play Solar Conqueror by Action Graphics and Astrocade, released at sometime in November 1982. All right, so this is how everything on the Bally Astrocade loads. You first select what game. It comes with those 2, 3, 4, and 5 are built into the system. So we're doing number 1 for Solar Conqueror, and now it's going to ask how many players, and you can go with 4 players, because the Bally Astrocade, kind of like the Atari home computer, has ports for 4 joysticks. It's so cool. When you play this, though, it's going to be like a hot seat multiplayer in the arcade. You're going to be taking turns, so it doesn't matter. We're not going to play all at the same time. So I'm doing a 1-player game. How many ships do we want? Like, how many lives do we want? I want a lot of lives. And then which system do you want? Player 1, I'm going to start with level 1. So you can start, you can see all the way up to level 9 if you wanted to. And that's kind of like difficulty. Here we go. Ooh. And it starts off with a warp. I'm not doing anything. Oh, man. Is everyone awake yet? Did everyone hear that? Sweet. All right, so 8 ships, player 1, system 1, planet 1. We're pulling the trigger, and we're going in. All right, so the first thing I want to feel is the control. Oh, nice. So much already hitting with... We have different enemy types. Whoa, I see what they mean by the controls. Okay, so at first glance, it makes me think that I'm playing something that's exactly like Asteroids, but it's not like that. The control actually is absolute control, where whenever I move up, it goes up. When I move left, it goes left. And I can see what they mean by the drift. If you do a little tap of the joystick, you can just face the direction of the ship. Wow, or face the direction of your shot. So it does not play or control like the other games we've seen in the arcade. It's an improvement. And I like how they have the planet. It's slowly pulling me in. I got a feeling of inertia and gravity for the planet. It's the planet that's right behind my head. Oh, here we go again. We're going in. Oh, and Jeremiah is saying it, this is his most wanted system or console. Wow. Awesome warp. Reminds me of when we warp in Star Raiders or something like that. Okay, so pull the trigger. We're now on to System 2. So we cleared out a whole solar system and Planet 2. As long as you stay alive, you're going to be seeing different planets. It's all pretty much the same enemies every time, but you're having to contend with the gravity. And the enemies do change. They get more aggressive, but you're not going to see anything different or new. Look at that. The planet is shooting missiles at us that you have to destroy. Oh, they got us. But the planet still surrendered. Nice. So you can see at the top of the screen is showing us the number of ships we have left or lives left. But this is so cool. So this is essentially what we refer to as a multi-directional shooter. And this is the 140th multi-directional shooter that we've seen thus far. Multi-directional shooters are like Asteroids or Bosconian, things like that, where you have the freedom to shoot around. I'm trying to pinpoint, is this something that's a variant of another game we played in the arcade? But I can't get an exact game. So I think this is an original concept. It's taking an homage from lots of games, like Stratovox is an example, or Bandits that we've seen for home computers. Quasar is another example, or Laser Battle and Laserian, because of the planet that's on the side. The way that you're seeing and the gravity pulling you in, it's kind of reminiscent of a few other games like Escape from Arcturus that we saw on the Apple II, or even the Thorolian Tunnels. So it has some vibes, but I'm calling this original, unless someone else in the chat wants to call out exactly what this is. We've seen everything in the arcade, but I'm getting vibes like I have played something like this, or at least looks like this, but doesn't play like this, because it's really unique with the controls. For a home console game to play this way, yeah, I love how the game feels to control. Dare I say, it's playing better than the kind of relative controls you would see for Star Castle or Asteroids or things like that. Yeah, I like the pull trigger. Makes me feel like I'm firing something. Yeah, so very fun. Control is very well done. It's because we have the hand controller. The best way I can describe the control system is it's like we're playing Time Pilot, which we recently saw in the arcades. Oh, we got Heart of Gravity now. Ooh, and they're shooting at us. Or Bosconian is another example. So it doesn't play like Space Fury or Star Castle or anything. It's more like Bosconian or Time Pilot for the controls, which is refreshing to see this on a home console. Oh, nice. So I'm already experiencing moving to different planets and solar systems, the gravity change, and then the enemies are the same enemies, but they're making the enemies more difficult. Like they're firing shots at us now. Awesome. I also love the concept that the planet is surrendering to you if you do well enough. Sweet. Yeah. It's another winner. It's a winner. So the Astrocade has given us very little games. We haven't played that many on this console, but the games they've given us that are the good games, they are very good games for every home console that's out there. Yeah, the sound effects are great too. And yeah, the rounds are going pretty fast. I wonder if because whenever you go later, they're going to have more things they fire at you. You can see we're System 3, Planet 3. I mean, look, they even have asteroids coming out, or an asteroid field. See this one over here? And part of me feels it should be breaking apart as if we were playing asteroids, but it's not. Yeah, the multicolor, so good. So fun. All right, I'll just say it. This game is playing better than Space War that we played on the Atari 2600. It's playing better than Asteroids we played on the Atari 2600. Haven't seen any Asteroids on the Atari 5200 up to this point. It's also playing better than Suicide Mission. All those on the Atari 2600. This game is better than those. When you think of a multi-directional shooter on other consoles. Yeah, and the fast-paced rounds, like rounds going quick, is really, really fun. I also like how the Astrocade gives you the option of how many lives you want. Lots of games have done that. See, I have 5 lives in the top left, and you can select how many lives you would want before you start the game. It's great. I'm also getting vibes of Space Hawk that we played on the Intellivision, with the way that it controls, but Space Hawk was more of your in open space. There isn't any gravity or something pulling you toward it. Yes, and all the planets in the solar system will surrender to us. So it continues on like this. It's very well done. So fun. Yeah, I don't get... It looks like Star Castle, but it doesn't play like Star Castle. It plays more like Time Pilot or Bosconian rather than Star Castle or Space Fury or something like that. All right, so there's our taste of Solar Conqueror. Very, very well done. For all the games you could play right now on all home consoles, this is a great title. This is a very good video game to play. And I would give this one, I wouldn't say one of the best of all the games you could play on all home consoles, because there's some other games that give it more variety and longer play sessions. This one's still, for a shooter, it's awesome. So looking over the chat, Brad's throwing out Sinistar, which, by the way, we haven't seen yet on Chronologically Gaming. Sinistar has not invaded our nightmares up to this point. We'll be seeing it soon. I see a 4, 4.5, some 4 stars. Yeah, 4s. Actually, a 3.5 from Jeremiah. I'm going 4. Of all the games you could play on all home consoles, Solar Conqueror is a great time, and it's up there with the Incredible Wizard and some of the other titles we've seen on the Bally Astrocade. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're next going to go to Japan to play on the NEC PC 8801. This is Space Amoeba. And I think Space Amoeba was inspired by the 1970s movie Space Amoeba by Toho. Here it is. Space creatures coming from outer space. Yes, transforming into monsters. Oh, yes. That means kaiju. Oh, there they are. 3 monsters. Gezora. Yes, Ganime. Oh, there he is. Yes, they are scary. Oh, I really hope it's based on this movie, because this already looks really exciting and fun. We're going to play the game version of this. And then they introduce everybody in the movie. Yeah, we don't need to go that far. So here's Space Amoeba for the NEC PC 8801. As far as the box, there's our Space Amoeba. We're going to be shooting up. This is the 8th game we've seen for the NEC PC 8801 or 8000 series. We're kind of meshing the 2 different systems together. With an example of the screenshot, that's about it. Let's pop it and play Space Amoeba. This is by Tsukumo Dinki, released at some time in November 1982. This is the 5th game we've seen by Tsukumo Dinki. They did Rinju and Star Trek. Very original, guys. All right, I'm ready to go. Hit return to start. Oh, you can see Amoeba and points, or Space Amoeba 88 is what it's called. All we have is move left, right, and missile, or fire. So we've seen that one before. Ready, set, go. There it is, the Space Amoeba, and I am destroying it. Sound has so minimal sound, but the enemy pattern is they just come down to the bottom, like the amoeba blasts something at us. It flies down really fast, stays at the bottom of the screen, and then goes back up to the top. And you can destroy the amoeba at the top. And it looks like I'm cutting off a little of the side. So here, I'll show you from this side. The way that the screen's presented, we're going to see a lot of games from Japan do this, where they give what feels like a bar on the side of the screen, giving information about the game. Lots of arcade-style games. Oh, see, oh man, once they get to the bottom, you have to dodge the little pieces. Well, we played a lot of arcade-style games where you cannot destroy the enemy at the top. So it's kind of cool that I can blow up the amoeba, but he just eventually just comes back. And this is keyboard only. I'm only using the keyboard to move left, right, and fire. Nope, go up to the top. The starfield in the background is not scrolling like you'd expect something to be Galaxian inspired. It's actually, we're flying at the starfield as if we're in warp, like we just played in Solar Console. Go, go, go. Oh, man. See, at the bottom, there's nothing else you can do besides just dodge the pieces. So what you're seeing right here is the entire game. This is Space Amoeba. There is nothing else. It's just continuing to go. How high, how many points can you get? It is the humble beginnings of shooters on Japanese home computers. This is the beginning of what, well, I guess we're playing a fixed shooter here, but there's a lot to be desired. Moving left, right, and firing is how we would refer to a fixed shooter on Chronologically Gaming. This is the 384th fixed shooter we've played on Chronologically Gaming. Made popular by Space Invaders. And so this one is just following the same trope. On home computers, this is the 220th fixed shooter we've seen thus far. And there's our game over. This game's even simpler than Galaxian, Galaga, Gorf, Centipede, Phoenix. Very, very simple concept, and there's really not... Oh, you can play again? Okay. But what you can see, what we're seeing on the screen, if we blow up the amoeba fast enough, that's it. Yeah, he breaks the pieces and comes right back. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The keyboard control is also what I'd say is bringing the game down, because there's not a way to play with joystick. Looking over in the chat, yes, 2.5 stars, because you have to start somewhere. I like that. I also get a little like prepared for the future, seeing how the whole screen has a bar of stats and information, because we're going to see lots of games like, you know, Galaga and Galaxian when they come to computers, and shooters that are going to be coming to computers having the exact same presentation. All right, so Space Amoeba, not really based on the movie by Toho, but maybe they were going for that originally, and they just didn't have the ability to do that. So for all the games you can play across all home computers, I see over in the chat 2.5 stars, actually mostly 2.5. Curtis is saying not broken. Yeah, but it doesn't really shine. It's very, very simple, and it's so bizarre that I'm rating a shooter on a Japanese computer right now 2.5 stars, because I say the same. Of all the games you could play across all home computers, it is not bad, but it's not really doing anything that's super impressive. It's like, I don't want to really call it bad, because you can have fun playing a score attack game, but that's all. Yeah, you really have to play it, but you're on the keyboard. You move left, you move right, space to fire. Pretty simple, right? All right. And that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. We're still going to be playing every single video game on every system, every game we can find all over the world. Thanks again for everyone joining me here for the live show. And if you come in later, be sure to leave a comment down below. We'll return it as soon as we can. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, have you heard of a Star Trek game? We play a unique racing game on the Atari home computer, and we finally tackle those spiders on Mars. That's it for today, and like I always say, have you noticed the computer games are getting better than the console games? Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.